right, my friends, we're looking at lesson 2.10, which is our last assignment for this week. So the warm-up says drag a point to show 3 different solutions that are answers to this inequality. So we have 10 minus 5x is less than 0. So let's move that 10 to the other side, start to get x alone. 10 minus 10 is 0, and we're left with negative 5x is less than negative 10. 0 minus 10 is negative 10. Then divide both sides by negative 5, and we get x. We divided by a negative, so we got to flip that sign. Negative 10 divided by negative 5 is 2. So any value that's greater than 2. So we can put this on our number line as long as it's a point bigger than 2. And we'll notice that when we put all of those solutions, we can start to see our graph come alive for that right arrow to the right of positive 2. Go ahead to the next slide. So it says here are all the correct solutions from the previous screen. Kayleen and Leo are discussing how to write this inequality. Kayleen says its x is less than 2, and Leo says its x is greater than 2. Of course, these are values that are all bigger than 2. We see these other numbers that are larger than 2, so that means Leo is going to be correct. And you can take a moment to explain your thinking as to how we got that. And then push to slide 3. All right, this says yum, yum. Shara the sheep loves eating grass. She does not like water. Try out different inequalities to see what happens. So let's try x is less than 0. She lands at 0 and goes to the left, but now she's upset because she doesn't want to go to the water. So let's try x is greater than 0 to send her in the other direction. There we go, cleared a lot of the grass, but there's some grass that Shara missed. And Shara wants to eat all the grass. So we want to move that limit to negative 5. So these are all values when x is greater than negative 5. Shara is able to eat all of the grass and is nice and happy. Awesome. So let's look at slide 4. Here's an inequality. X divided by 3 is greater than or equal to positive 5. And we want to solve the inequality. So since this is being divided by 3, we're going to do our opposite and multiply both sides by 3. The 3's cancel, and we have x is greater than or equal to 5 times 3, which is 15. So let's put this inequality in, hit that keypad to open up to get your symbol for greater than or equal to 15, and then let's hit try it. Drop Shara down, and they're able to eat all of the grass and do their sheep flip, which is my personal favorite part of those videos. Then when you're all set here, push ahead to the next slide. Here's a new inequality. So we have 9 is greater than 2x minus 4. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides, starting to get that x alone. 9 plus 4 is 13, is greater than 2x. And then we want to divide both sides by 2. So 13 divided by 2 is 6.5, is greater than x. Again, if we want to flip this to put x in the front, we would write it as x is less than 6.5. Let's try it out. Here comes Shara. Perfect right there, and we're going less, so it's left than. Awesome. Nice job, y'all. Slide 6 says Kayleen's strategy. Here are some of Kayleen's work from the previous screen. Discuss what you notice and wonder about Kayleen's strategy, and describe how Kayleen's work can help her decide where to shade. So looking at the board, we noticed that we started with this inequality. Kayleen set it into an equation to find that point by adding 4 to both sides and dividing by 2, just like we got x is 6.5. So now we're deciding, okay, is it less than 6.5 or greater than 6.5. So this is the less than option because 6 is less than 6.5. And when they plug that in, they get a true statement. And this is the greater option of 7. And when you plug in 7, you get 9 is greater than 10, which is false. So in the box here, I want you to describe how this strategy helps you decide where to shade. So Kayleen's strategy of picking 2 points and deciding, am I shading less than or greater than? What does that strategy look like? Put it into the box here, pause the video if you need to, and then push on to slide 7. Here is a new inequality. We have 8x minus 4 is less than 10x plus 2. So we can add 4 to both sides, starting to move some variables around, and we get 8x is less than 10x plus 6. To get our x's together, we'll subtract that 10x on both sides. 8x minus 10x is a negative 2x, which is less than 6. And then divide both sides by negative 2. And of course, you all remember that when we divide by that negative 2, we flip the symbol and get x is greater than negative 3. Let's test it out and see if it works. Perfect. Open circle on negative 3 and going towards the right. Perfect. Nice job. Slide 8 when you're ready. Getting tasty. Leo was trying to solve the previous inequality, and he knew that the sheep needed to land at negative 3. So we knew that was our starting point of negative 3, but didn't know if the grass was to the right or to the left. So he wrote 8 times 0, so we're plugging in 0 for x, minus 4 is less than 10 times 0 plus 2. How might this help Leo decide where the graph is? So if we get a true statement, since 0 is greater than negative 3, we would shade right. If we get a false statement, then we would shade left. So because we chose a point that is bigger than negative 3, that's going to help us figure out which direction we have to be shading in. We always want to shade in the direction of the true statement. So if we were to do this, 8 times 0 minus 4 is less than 10 times 0 plus 2. So let's simplify. 8 times 0 is 0 minus 4 is less than. 10 times 0 is also 0 plus 2. And then we get negative 4 is less than 2, which is true. Negative 4 is less than 2, so we are going to shade greater to the right because we got a true statement. So go ahead and hit share with class. And when you're all set, push ahead to slide 9. This next slide says, here's a new inequality. We have negative 2 that's being multiplied in the front by x plus 2, and that is less than or equal to a negative 23. Now, first thing I'm going to do is distribute this negative 2 to get negative 2x minus 4 is less than or equal to negative 23. All right, negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Then I'm going to add 4 to both sides, and I get negative 2x is less than or equal to negative 19. And then divide by negative 2, remembering that since we're dividing by a negative, we have got to flip that sign. And then 2 negatives make a positive, so this is just positive 19 halves. So we have x, open the keypad, is greater than or equal to 19 halves. And let's try it out. Perfect. 19 halves is the same as 9.5, so that works. And we got our flip. Slide 10 is our repeated challenges. So this is built in to help you continue to practice this skill. So I will do one of them with you, and then I encourage you to do at least 3 more to get that practice in, but the more, the better. So we have 2x plus 10 is greater than 20. I'm going to subtract 10 on both sides, and then I get 2x is greater than 20 minus 10, which is 10. Divide both sides by 2 to get x is greater than 5. So as I plug that in, just like we have been, we'll make sure the sheep lands at the correct spot of 5 and goes to the right because it's greater than. And also notice and remember that we have that open circle on 5 because we don't have the or equal to, so it can't be equal to 5, it just has to be bigger than 5. So I want you to hit try another and do at least 3 more. And then, so pause the video here, and when you're all set, push ahead to slide 11. Slide 11 is looking for a synthesis, so I want you to use your knowledge from the past couple practices to describe a strategy for solving inequalities. So how would you describe how we have been solving inequalities? You can use these examples on the left if you want, or you can just describe in words, what is the processes that we have done to work through solving these? Pause the video if you need, fill that out. And then on slide 12, it's show what you know. So we have negative 5x plus 2 is less than or equal to 12. We're going to subtract 2 from both sides, and we get negative 5x. 2 minus 2 cancels out, so that's less than or equal to 12 minus 2 is 10. Last step is to divide both sides by negative 5. And of course, when we do that, we got to remember to flip the sign. 10 divided by negative 5 is negative 2. So we're going to plug in x greater than or equal to negative 2 and hit submit. On the last slide, you're looking at a reflection, wondering how you feel about solving a one variable inequality by solving its matching equation and testing those values, and describing a strategy for solving and graphing the solutions to an inequality. And when you are all set with this lesson, make sure you're taking some time to turn it in to Schoology. And if you have any questions, of course, reach out to me and we can find some times to meet. Bye everyone. Nice job today.